and that's a good way to start stream. So it's every time, and I don't know if you can see that, guys, but got a bit of the old Intellivision on the go. So I thought while I wait for the chat to fill up, have a quick blast on Astro Smash. I would have shared it, but unfortunately I can't. Or if you can on StreamYard, I don't know. So hello to Jay anyway. At least you're in the chat, mate. Hello. Any questions, guys? Just drop them in the chat. So I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat and play a bit of Astro Smash. Saturday's routine, isn't it? Oh, Astro Smash at the moment on the Intellivision. Evercade Intelligent Collection. Well, trying anyway. Hello, LFC, mate. How you doing? Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. So I thought I'd give it another crack this week because the first two streams have gone quite well. I wish I knew how to fix this up and connect it so I could stream it. To be fair, though, my internet probably wouldn't cope anyway. I've got 13 in the chat. Bloody hell. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, nice. Got a triple. It's a proper addictive game, this is. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed this. I say, anyone's got any questions or anything, just chuck them in the chat and I'll do my best. So, Keith's in the house. How's it going, Keith? So, I'll just pause that. So, first question of the night. Christ sake, Keith, honestly. So, who make the better Intellivision Amiko player? Stevie Wonder, Pingo, or Paul Gaskin? Okay, the only one you're getting tonight, Keith. We're not doing that all night because that will wind people up. Pingo, probably. He's probably got the dexterity for the disc. So true that is, you know. It properly, you know, because seeing Astro Smash is so basic as well. It just proves the point that the simple games are the most addictive games. I can't stop playing it, and yeah, the new one's going to be great. I can't wait to check that out. But yeah, I'm not the greatest at it. Oh, hello, Steve. Wow. Let's wait. I hope not. It's supposed to be this year, so that's what they were saying. So that's what Phil said yesterday. You get a lot of live on this game. Button Bash asking me a question, and I've got. I have absolutely no idea who that is. So you have to give me some context, mate. Can you give me a bit of detail? Is that footballer? Because I heard something about that earlier, but no idea. Ah, bollocks. Yeah, to do that football, I ain't got a flow down. I don't really watch the news that much, to be quite honest with you. It's just when I'm bored, I have a quick look. Fair play, Steve. Anybody got any questions I can actually answer? Okay. Yeah, I heard about it earlier. I don't know anything about what's happened there. But, you know, football being stupid is not exactly news, is it? Oh, in the pink zone. So, hang on a minute. Keith's going to distract me. What you got, Keith? All right, you have to knock it on the head with them questions, like, people will get annoyed otherwise. So, offhand, I can't remember because there's so many of them. To be honest, I'll have to go back and look at all the Snesses. I really don't know. I'm with you, Steve. Absolutely. There's no reason for it at all, but you know, there are assholes in the world. What can you do? Got 14 people in the chat. It's pretty. I can't remember how many had the last 2 weeks. I don't know if we're going to get a record. So everyone's going to start talking about football now, and I ain't got a clue when it comes to football. It's all going to go. That's my neighbour's car, mate. He's got one of them bloody exhausts on it. Oh, bollocks. There's a mistake I always made of Astro Smash. Sometimes it's best to just avoid, but I'll take the risk and get blown up. So what's everybody been doing this week? What's been happening? Playing any games or anything? Or watching any films? What you've been up to? Damn. All right, I'll knock it on the head anyway, so you guys can have a chat. Yeah, I saw you'd watch that, Keith. Remember when that came out and that was a big thing, that PT? I can't remember, but I know it scared the hell out of me. So, did that ever get made into a game or not? I think it got scrapped, didn't it? I'm assuming you mean the Evercade. That would be Astro Smash. Oh, nice one, mate. How was it? Have you played it on PS4 and how does it compare? Because a good game, I like that one. I need to play Miles Morales next. Or is that what you mean? First time you played it? It's not the first time playing it on PS5. I'm assuming you mean in general. I've already done it. I had my dinner hours ago, so I don't have any food late at night. Just have trying to keep the food down. You know what I mean? Got to get this weight off. You know, I've not played any since I was a kid. So Not really, but I know that there are electronic versions, and there's going to be ones on Amiko, so maybe that might get me back into it. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, Xbox One's great. I had one of them. So what were your favourite games, like, exclusively on there? I was a big fan of, like, Rise, Son of Rome. Sunset Overdrive was really good. Couldn't get on with that. Was it Quantum Break, I think it was called? Tried to get into that, but yeah, I found the controls too difficult, but nice. Neil. Blaze, probably not. They probably can't afford to, mate. They're a small company as well. So would be nice if they could, but so I mean, hopefully, I wanted television to stick around, so we're getting television too as well for the Evercade. That'd be quite nice, as well as Amika. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen at the moment? Mate, that's a whole different thing. I don't even know where to begin with that. Apparently, you're not allowed to like things anymore. If you have a different opinion to everybody else, you get criticised. So I don't know. Oh, nice. What are you getting? Where's it gone? So what you ordering? Wow, Cyanide Breath Mints. Haven't heard from you in ages. How you doing, mate? Nice. Mr. Nuts is great. I had that on Super Nintendo. Yeah, it's actually surprisingly decent. I mean, it's not the greatest platform, but I think it's pretty solid. From what I can remember, the graphics were really good on it as well, not big sprites. But yeah, I don't know how the Mega Drive version compares, but it's a solid game on SNES. Yeah, he was CEO and president of Intellivision Entertainment. He's now president and chief creative officer, and Phil Adam has become the CEO. So, yeah, and if you look up Phil Adam, you'll see his history. He's the guy that done the deal for Tetris to go to America. Worked with Naughty Dog, created Spectrum Holobyte. He's done quite a lot. Behind the lion. Okay, you have to have a Steam Deck, which are a massive library eventually. No, mate, I don't play PC, so I've never really gotten into Steam. But yeah, pretty cool though. Nice one, Neil. Yeah, I mean, when it comes out, we can all just start playing the games and talking about the games. That's what really matters, isn't it? That's what's important. That's what I'm looking forward to anyway. Being able to share high scores and talk about the times we've had with friends and family and the fun we've had, and just talk about all the games that are coming out through it as well. Nice. Okay. Yeah, Meat Feast is always a great one. I've got to agree. I used to love. I can't remember who it was, but back in the day, remember, we used to get those French bread pizzas. I used to always get the cheese and tomato and just keep it basic. I absolutely love them. To be honest, Keith, I've never used one, so I have absolutely no idea. I'm not massive into the minis. I owned a Super Nintendo one, thought it was crap, and sent it back to Amazon. PlayStation one, I heard all kinds of things about that, so I've got no idea. Nice. Yeah, that's not bad at all, is it? Derby Stallion would be nice to own that. So I take it you're still a collector. Oh. Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. You're right, it was, wasn't it? Fair play, Paul. I mean, well, where did you order yours from? Have you ordered direct from Intellivision, or have you ordered it from a retail store? I mean, I don't know if you saw, but last night, if you go and check out the stream that was on the original Next Level Gaming's channel, Phil Adam, the CEO, and also the Chief Technical Officer, John Alvarado, were both on there last night. And Phil said that anybody who's ordered the Founders Edition are going to be taken care of by the look of it. But what he actually said was, the end of the month, there will be a date. So we all assume that means Founders and VIPs first of all, and then retail will be down the line. But he said it's definitely coming out this year, so got to take him at his word, don't we? Okay. Oh, hang on. Jesus Christ, I'm losing the chat here. Right, yeah, same as me. So we're all right. I mean, it doesn't cost us anything to do. We just put the order in. If it comes out, it comes out. We get it. If it doesn't, well, it really sucks, but it didn't cost us anything. Evening, James. Good to see you in here, mate. Mr. Flashback TNT, how you doing, James? Any 360 games you want to pick up? Excited to play first time? There's a lot of games I want to pick up, but to be honest, right at the moment, I want to get Singularity because I got stuck on it when it first came out, and I got pissed off with the game, and I want to finish it because me and Alex Blue Tonic were talking about it the other night, and it's got me really wanting to play it again. As for games for the first time, I still haven't played Split Second, still haven't played Blur. I played the demo of Split Second, that was really cool. I'm thinking of getting the Crisis games, Crisis 2 and 3, because I've never played them, and they never really appealed to me. But I remember Alex, like Blue Tonic, was really into those at the time, and I love first-person shooters. So yeah, those are the main ones at the moment. But the library's huge, isn't it? Okay, have you been watching Sunday Night Swap Retro Chef? I haven't, mate. To be honest, I've been on there before, but yeah, I can't keep up with everything. I do my best, but I don't watch as much retro channels as many as I used to. I'm starting to get back into doing that now. But once I stopped collecting, I had to cut back because I found that the more I watched the channels, the more influence I got and the more I wanted to collect. And I didn't want to get back into collecting at that time. So it was better for me to just not watch many channels. Oh, mate. Now you're talking. Crispy pancakes with the nuts. I absolutely love them. Yeah, I used to, when I was young, I'd come in from like playing out with my mates and I'd go and cook some food, and it was always things like that, crispy pancakes and fry-ups and all the basics, the good stuff. Yeah, exactly, mate. That's my point. This is why I don't understand people getting a bit stressed. It's like, I mean, I don't know how it works with different retail companies. Like in the UK, we've got Game and Argus, and I think you have to pay up. I think Game's a deposit, and then Argus, you have to pay the full amount up front. I'm not entirely sure. It might be a deposit. And I know some of the retailers in the US did the same thing. But, and if you paid through Intellivision for your Founders, you can just get the money back anytime you want. But yeah, Amazon's always the best option, I think, for pre-ordering anything. Did you manage to order the physical Amiko games, and can you pre-order? Hang on. Right, okay. Don't do that. Bloody things block the chat up. Right, still have 400. Yeah, I haven't got them yet, and you can't. I also mean, can you pre-order them? Well, I've not seen them on Amazon. They're only on German Amazon. They don't seem to be on ours for some reason. So I'll probably just wait until that happens because I couldn't afford them when they came out. It was way out of my league. And I was also a bit like, I'm not sure if I really want to go there or just want to keep it digital. But the more I've seen people show them off, and I was watching them on Facebook, so I can't think who it was. I think it was Thomas Bryant the other day was posting on Facebook. He had a really in-depth photographs of the coins. Looks really nice. And those lenticular cards. So I will probably go physical eventually because they're not that expensive either. So, by the time they come out, I can just buy them one at a time or a couple at a time. Mate, it would take a miracle. I'll tell you what, if everybody stops harassing me in the comments, maybe I'll try an RPG. That is another. That's a good one, mate. And yeah, I've never played them. I'm not a big horror guy anyway. I don't mind a bit of Resident Evil, and I love Condemned, but I'm not massively into them. But yeah, I must admit, the Dead Space games, everybody tells me how good they are. So they're not expensive either. So just buy them and put them on the shelf and play them and see if I like them. Yes, mate, it is. Yeah, it's on my local anyway. So yeah, that's out. And also, surprised me this week, I didn't know, but Death on the Nile comes out today as well. I'm more excited to see Death on the Nile than I am Uncharted, which is not good because I'm a big Uncharted guy. But yeah, that film, the more I see of it, the more I think, I don't know. But there's so many films that come out in the last couple of years where the trailer has either been underwhelming or it just put me completely off. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. I recently watched The Kingsman, the third one. It's just called The King's Man. And I love the first two films, and I didn't think much of the trailer for the new one. But that film is absolutely superb. I was really, really impressed with it, and I loved it. Was set in World War One, and the time zone just worked great. The whole set thing, the script was great, the action was great. It was just got a lot of heart to it. Really impressed with that film. If you've not seen The Kingsman, check it out. If you haven't seen the first two, definitely, especially the second one with Elton John, because that is just absolutely mental. Well, you know what? It's always been Coke, but I like Pepsi Max. But I find that most of it's just sugar now. It's just crap. It's just sugar water. It doesn't have that flavour. I mean, I still love like Cherry Coke back in the day. That was my favourite. Cherry Coke and Cherry 7 Up. Those were two of my favourites. But these days, I drink mostly like Lucozade or Iron Brew. Paul, absolutely, mate. This is the thing. While I wait for my Amiko, Evercade's filling the gap. As you can see, I've got them both. I was actually playing, not only was I just playing a minute ago, but I was playing on the VS before I came on here. So I was playing a bit of Chaos Engine. I finished Tumble Pop. Tumble Pop is a hell of a long game for an arcade game. I blasted through Slice By again. I had a blast on that one. What else did I play? Oh, yeah, I had gone Breakthrough as well, because I finished that at Christmas, and that game's brutal. I don't know if you've played the arcade game yet, the arcade cartridge, but yeah, that game is so good, but it's so bloody difficult. It would have cost a fortune back in the day. Right, boom. Miko just needs to be released, and if it flops out there, will have a good resale value, absolutely, because of obscurity and meme value. Don't stress, you won't lose out as long as it's released. I agree, mate. I mean, this is the thing with the games. People complain that they release the physical media before the console. Obviously, I get that argument, but I also think that people miss the point that if you don't open them and this console never sees the light of day, you've now got something like really obscure from history. So in 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to go up in value because there's always collectors that are going to want those weird little things. It's like if someone unearthed a demo kit for the M2, the follow-up to the 3DO. Maybe they have, I don't know. But if just as an example, people would want it. You know, people collect for the Atari Jaguar, for Christ's sake. That's got a really small library. So, yeah, I think people just take it too seriously sometimes. Is there any advantage of arcade over the likes of MAME, etc.? Xbox One is chipped, lots of arcade games. I'd probably say if you've done that, there's not much point in buying it. It's, I mean, you know, in terms of emulation, it's fantastic. But I think really the only advantage you get is really just those cartridges. If you like buying boxes and cartridges and things, then yeah, it's absolutely worth it. And also the collections as well. I mean, obviously with MAME and that, you just get everything. But they do like really cool curated collections of console games and arcade games. And eventually, apparently, they're going to look to doing original games for the Evercade as well. So maybe at that point, when that happens, it'll get more people on board. But I would 100% recommend everybody checking out Evercade because it's really surprised me how good it is. Big Mike in the house. How's it going, mate? So Dead Space, great series, worth a play. Absolutely, I will try it. I mean, they're not expensive at the moment, so I need to just put them on the shelf really and just get to them. I'm trying to buy games and play them and then put them on the shelf, which I'm doing quite well. I bought 3 games for the Xbox 360 recently. I finished one. I'm close to the end of another, and the other one I'm about near enough halfway through, but I'm not very good at it, so I'm going to struggle to get to the end. Just because, you know, if I start just doing that, Keith, it's going to annoy everybody in the chat. You know, I don't mind the odd one, but I can't just keep doing that. You know, we have to talk about other things as well. There's a remake. What's that? Is that on PS4 or is that only on Switch and all that? Vinyl records, mate, I love them. I buy them all well, not all the time anymore, but when I can afford to buy new ones, I buy new ones. I've got a decent collection so far. Don't get involved in old vinyl though, because that's a death trap, which I found out right at the beginning. I can spend too much money doing that and end up with loads of records that I don't actually want. So yeah, I just buy brand new vinyl that comes out. So that way I only buy a record from an artist or group that I'm interested in. And I know I'm going to get a lot of play out of, because even when I started buying vinyl, I got into the new vinyl. I bought some re-releases of old albums that I already had on CD. There was no reason to buy them. It was just, it's limited edition. It looks cool. So I learned my lesson with that one. But yeah, vinyl's awesome. I haven't. I think Blue Tonic was telling me about this the other day. So Tetris Effect is something I need to look into. Have I got any tea? No, mate. Damn. So yeah, that's one I'll have to look at, that, Mike. Oh, Mike, have you still got that massive TV, by the way? Because that was epic. You know what, Paul? I don't know much about this. I've seen people make videos about, like, Classic Gaming Fun in Canada's got one. It's certainly an interesting system, very expensive from what I can see when you start putting in all the modules and whatnot. But when did you put your order in? Because I know it's been a long time. If you're waiting for that, then I can understand why you're not really stressing too much about Amiko, because Polymega's a long time coming. Yeah, I mean, that right there is another great thing that I love as well. The fact that they put Xenocrisis and Tanglewood on one cartridge, saves a lot of money. Obviously, I've said it before, but it's not as good as the real thing, but it certainly does a job if you don't want to get into proper collecting. Yeah, nice one, Neil. Yeah, you got to give vinyl love. I don't get tapes, though. I know people are getting into tape cassettes again. That's the most bizarre thing that's come back, but, that's what you like. Great question from James. Do you have any 90s dance vinyl? I've only got 2 Unlimited albums at the moment. I haven't gone down that route. As I said, I'm trying to be careful with old vinyl, because if I start buying old vinyl, they're very cheap, and especially when you go to car boots and things. I used to be getting them for like £1 and 50p and end up getting stacks. But no, at the moment, the only ones I've bought back, which I didn't actually need because I've got all the CDs, but I bought the first 3 2 Unlimited albums. I need to get Hits Unlimited, but unfortunately, it was only released in Greece from what I can see, and you're looking at about £100. And I can't see how I can justify that, even though I'd love to have it on vinyl. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. Especially when I've got the CD. Why would I need to do that? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I need to give it a try. I have, even when we talk about RPGs earlier, I have tried the odd RPG over the years. It just doesn't work for me. I can't get my head around the point of playing them. I don't understand what the appeal is, and it's the same with the horror games. I played Resident Evil back on the PlayStation. Really like the first one. I played the second and third one. I never managed to complete any of them. I'm not that good because the puzzles, I'm useless. But yeah, that's what I said. The only horror game I've really, really enjoyed was Condemned. But that's more of like a first-person shooter in a way, but with like a lot less shooting. But yeah, I'll probably give Dead Space a try, because why not? What's your favourite? Do you play in the multiplayer campaigns? If you play the campaigns, Neil, what's your favourite one? Okay, cool. So that's Polymega, yeah. So they're a bit late then. So hopefully you'll be getting it soon, then, mate. Bloody hell. Yeah, I'm not going down the CD route. I have picked up a couple of CDs in the last couple of years. I only like new ones because I like country music, and a lot of them come out on CD, and you only get the occasional one on vinyl. So I had no choice. But I don't want to get into collecting. I've got absolutely stacks of CDs over the back of there. All the CDs I had when I was growing up. I've got absolutely tons of CD singles, stacks of albums. I think I've got like about 300 albums or something. So it's just, yeah, I don't want to go down that road. Although I watched a video the other day. There's a channel on YouTube called 33 RPM, and he made a video that apparently the CDs are now going up in sales over the last, I think it's the last year, and that a lot of people in the vinyl community were saying in his comments that they're getting out of vinyl because the prices are going up all the time, and old vinyls going up, new vinyls going up. I mean, new vinyl, you buy a record now, and depending on what it is, a lot of them, they're limited runs, so they just shoot up in price, and it's ridiculous if you don't buy it day one. So I can understand people getting back on CDs, to be honest, but yeah, I just think we collecting in general have to keep it to a minimum, because you guys know I've let it get out of hand before. Hello, Dan. How you doing, mate? Absolutely, mate. One of the greatest bands ever. I absolutely love touring. They just announced, actually, they're coming to the UK as part of a massive gig of old school 90s dance acts. That looks really cool. But yeah, I absolutely love touring Limited back then. I still do now. Yeah, I used to record like Top of the Pops and everything when they were on. Record all their music videos, everything. Exactly, mate. That's exactly it. It's a wonderful and bankrupting hobby. That's why I'm always cautious to what I buy and keep it. I haven't bought a record. When was the last time I bought an album? It was last year, and I don't even remember which one it was I bought last. I don't know. It might have been Drake White's album that I bought last. That might have even been 2020, to be honest. But I bought Tennille Towns as well, so that might have been last year. I'm not too sure. I'm a bit behind. Yeah, I mean, Drake White was supposed to have a new album out this month, and it hasn't appeared yet. And Avril Lavigne just put out a new album, and there's no vinyl, even though the last album was vinyl. But I'm probably that will be an exception when I buy the CD, because I've got all of her albums on CD, so it makes more sense. And hell yeah, mate, absolutely. She still looks good, she's aging well. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how the hell you play a Pokemon game. So if that's an easy way in, then fair enough. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I've tried most games, but RPGs are there's such a barrier to entry with those games. Well, I was waiting for someone to ask that. That's a glass half empty, glass half full question. See, to me, I saw it as the sun rising on a new day. I didn't see it as a sunset. So it depends on your perspective. No, mate. It's all. I mean, it's okay, but I was a Commodore guy, so I'm all about a 64, mate. But the Spectrum Next, however, that's something different. That looks really cool. I would love a Commodore version of that. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, there's ways of doing it. It's just I'm at a point in my life now where I just don't want to be surrounded by stuff. I have enough. If you look at my old videos when I was properly collecting, this is nothing compared to back then. Hang on, boom. Apart from there's no limit and ready for this. Can't remember any other hits. So we got so we got Tribal Dance, Jump for Joy, Faces. Was it Here I Go? I think that's what it's called. One of my favourites was Nothing Like the Rain. I absolutely love that song off their third album. I'm just trying to think of the whole. Workaholic as well, of course. What else is on the albums? I could probably just name every song, no problem at all. But then when I'm thinking like this on the spot, but yeah, have a look on YouTube, because also Two Unlimited, Ray and Anita got back together about, what was it? I think it was like, I don't know if it's 2012 or a bit further on from that. But they came back and they put out two great songs. In fact, three songs, but I think one of them was digital. One was on a film soundtrack, and the other one got a CD release, which is what I've got. So I got In the Name of Love, which is brilliant. It's just Ray and Anita. So I've got that on CD. Then they had Nothing to Lose, which was on the film soundtrack for a Dutch film, which I can't get anywhere. Can't even get the soundtrack for some reason. And then they had Still Unlimited, which never got a release. It's just digital. But yeah, they're still around. They're still doing. I mean, Anita's left, unfortunately, so Ray's on his own. Ray in 2016, I think it was, brought a new singer in called Kim, who was absolutely incredible, because I'm a Ray and Anita guy. And to me, it's like you can't replace Anita. But Kim was absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, she's now left the band as well. and Ray's about to announce the new singer shortly, so I'm looking forward to that. And their YouTube channel, Ray started doing a really cool podcast on there where they talk about memories from the past of the group, so it's really good. So any 2 Unlimited fans, check out their YouTube channel. I'm not, Keith. It's just I've got a lot to get through and I've got to keep up on top of things here. So is that an indie game, mate? Is that digital? Hello, how you doing, mate? If you just hit the thrift and charity shops, I really dig polka, disintegrating 30s off-Broadway musicals and religious hymn albums, record collecting went back. It's funny you say that because whenever I go record collecting in my area, it's usually like 1970s stuff and a lot of ABBA. A lot of people like really, I can't think, who is it? There's a lot of classical records, a lot of ABBA, and then there's like, what's it, Engelbert Humperdinck and all that kind of stuff, and Cliff Richard albums. So yeah, I never find anything that's actually a gem or worth some money or anything good. See, that's all right. I mean, at least you found jazz. You can't go on with a bit of jazz music. I mean, that's quality. Hey, it really does. You know, since I got the Evercade in television collection, I am so on board with Night Stalker. I really like that game a lot. And looking at the new version and rewatching the video and seeing how it works in multiplayer as well. Like there's big worms, and you can get the worm to chase you, and your mate can come up behind it and shoot it in the arse. Absolutely brilliant. The tactics that are going to be involved and the music is just outstanding. This is, you know, another reason why I want Amiko to come out, because these games look so bloody good. It's indie. Cool. Thanks, mate. I'll have a look for that. Appreciate your confidence in me there, Keith. Thank you, mate. I have absolutely no idea who's been following me since the beginning. I'm assuming you think it's yourself, so it might be. I really don't know that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only time I find good vinyl was when I used to go to the car boot, or what you guys would call what you call it, the market. I think I can't. Oh Christ, flea market. So we used to get decent vinyl then. There'd be like, but then it'd be a case of there'd be people who are professional and they'd have it all marked up at really high prices, like eBay prices. And then there was one guy who used to have like a whole stall just full of vinyl, but all good quality, decent condition, nice, you know, all different genres, and his prices were really fair. I used to get some good stuff off him. That's a great question. You know, mate, that's a really hard one because it's been a long time. But games that always come to mind are Hunchback, Bruce Lee, Burning Rubber, Quo Vadis, which is not very good, but it's a nostalgic game. Way of the Exploding Fist, because it's the first game I ever played. Whizball, ER Kung Fu, ER Kung Fu 2, Party Pigeon, which I only found out the name of that game a few years ago because I didn't know what it was called. That's a stupid game. Sam Fox Strip Poker was another one I used to play. Zaxxon, Uridium. What else did I play? Oh, Mission Impossible. Was it Mission Impossible or Impossible Mission? I can't remember. I think it was Impossible Mission. That was really cool. The elevator, that was really different. Yeah, there was absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to remember. There's so many great games, but those are some of my absolute favourites. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with doing the charity shop thing, and it's like, especially nowadays, people know about all this stuff, so they sort of swoop in. So you've got to be on your toes to get it, which is a bit of a shame, really. I mean, it's the same with records, games, anything that's collectible. Thank you. I thought it was, yeah. I had Swap Meet in my head, and I was like, that's not the right one. And then I was thinking of that one YouTuber who used to do flea market videos. So, hello, Justin. I avoided Miko may not appear. Missed the start of the chat, so skip it if not. That's fine, mate. No, I'm not at all. You know, I mean, obviously, there's always a possibility that it could go tits up and the company goes bankrupt. Anything's possible in business, you don't know. And there's a lot of stuff flying around at the moment, a lot of information, a lot of misinformation. I don't know what's true and what's not. All I can do is just go by what in television are saying. And at the moment, they're saying it's coming out in 2022. There's going to be a release date at the end of this month, and they're pretty confident about that. And that's all I can go on. I mean, I don't understand investment. I don't understand business. I don't understand American law for a start. I mean, that's the most important part. So I don't know. There's one group of people telling me it's all dead and it's over. There's another group of people telling me no, we're fine. So the truth has to be somewhere in the middle. And I read a great post on Facebook earlier from a guy who claims to be a lawyer, and if he is a lawyer and he's telling the truth, which he seemed to be, he was going through all the legal stuff and he made it quite clear, and it seemed there wasn't really much to worry about. But I mean, I don't know. The way I look at it at the moment, just keep on top of what Intellivision say, and if it comes out, great. I get a great system with some fantastic games that I can talk about on my channel and play with my friends and family. If it doesn't come out, it's going to really suck, and it's not a good thing that people should be celebrating. It's something that's really shit because, you know, it's another great entertainment device, and the amount of consoles that have never made it to market, it's never something to be happy about. I never understand why people get like that. It shouldn't be, I told you. It should be like, that sucks. People should be embracing new technology, not shitting on it all the time. I'll take your word for that, mate. I've got no idea. I know his son, but that's about it. I think Amiko should have gone on a cartridge. I mean, it would have been nice, yeah, absolutely. But again, if they would have probably got criticised because of the cost again, then because people go, you know, especially now with the pandemic and everything that's happened. I mean, Christ, imagine how much it would cost them to make cartridges and put a cartridge slot. I know Blazer know about all that, but yeah, yeah, it would have been nice. But I think the point is they were never aiming at us. We're just one sliver of the market. You know, they've got 5 categories of games. One of them is retro reimagined. All the other stuff is for their main audience, for the casuals. Obviously, there's going to be games we want to play. I mean, I'll be playing the sports games. I'll try some of the puzzle games, the party games, all that sort of stuff. But, you know, my main thing is going to be retro reimagined. And, you know, we're not the target audience, really. I never found good vinyl or record day at local market. All stores were eBay or higher. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the problem, isn't it? Everybody knows eBay prices. Except the one, obviously, old school metalhead. There's that a crate of quid each. That's what you want. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can, I mean, even years ago, and I haven't been to the car boot in a long time, and obviously the pandemic, I can't. But I remember the last couple of times I went, it was getting to the point of like, there's no gaming stuff. Everybody was standing on eBay. Every time you saw anything gaming, they would immediately go, oh, on eBay, and I'd be like, okay, and walk away. And then the vinyl, there was one guy that used to always have vinyl for sale, and he always used to have like records for £15 and higher. And I'm like, it's a car boot, mate. People ain't paying that for a record. But, you know, you can't tell these people. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. It was Impossible Mission. I thought it was. Yeah, and the second one as well, because the cover's got the guy with the 70 shades on. That was a great game. Oh, and I've just realised, I forgot to mention Renegade, of course. I played the hell out of those back then. Renegade's Target Renegade and Renegade 3. Renegade's good. Target Renegade is the best, and Renegade 3 is bloody weird. But but it's still cool. And Rainbow Islands as well. That's another one. And it was on 64 when it weren't just Amiko. I think it was anyway. Hello, Carl. Watched Amiko closer for ages in the games. Might be fun. Just seems to be cheap. Well, that's fair enough, mate. If that's if that's what you think, I mean, that's totally fine, isn't it? It's more, to be honest, about not so much that they look like mobile games. It's more about playing together and that controller and the disc. And until we actually get our hands on with the controller, I know plenty of people in America that have played it and have told me how great the controller is. But until I actually hold it and play it, I've got no idea if it is a game changer or not. But the games themselves are not cheap at all. There's a lot of depth to the games. If you really look into them, for the price they're charging, you get a hell of a lot of game. It's quite surprising, actually. And there's a lot of replayability as well, which is the important part. But, you know, I'd just say at the end of the day, Carl, if you've got any kind of interest in it, wait till it comes out. And once it's out in the stores and you see it at friends' houses or family members' houses, or you just see it in game, just give it a try, you know, see if you like it or not. That's the best way. You know, I think anybody at the moment who's on the fence should just wait and see, because there's no need to jump in straight away. Hell yeah, mate. Do you like any songs from E17? For me, some of the older songs sound a bit similar to Torn. I was a big fan of E17 back in the day, or E17 as they eventually became, didn't they? I think that was when Tony left afterwards. But yeah, I mean, All Right is obviously a classic. Stay Another Day, obviously everybody likes that one. I don't remember a lot of the names of the songs, but I just remember like the videos and that, and like Brian Harvey with his big his hat on, his beanie hat, like right up on the top of his head, and he had the massive earrings. And back then I was into piercings and things, and it was the 90s, so everybody had their ears pierced. And I used to do the same thing. I'd get bigger and bigger earrings. Yeah, those were good days, man. They were like my favourite boy band at the time. I never really got to take that at the time. I liked some of their songs, but I was never like really into them or anything, because that was more like for girls than it was for the boys. But you know, as I got older, I appreciated that Take That are actually really good. Unfortunately, that's just everybody now, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's difficult to be upset with charities because they're charities, but I understand what you're saying totally. You know, I mean, eBay's a pain in the ass, especially as like eBay isn't accurate anyway. And like a lot of people, I did it myself the other day, looking at buy nows and not looking at sold listings. Because I said to Clay Graphics the other day about a game, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster on PlayStation, that I usually see it selling for 100 quid. And he was like, no, you can get it for about 60. You just have to wait. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So, yeah, I mean, eBay's a nightmare. Thing is, it's not new technology, true. Putting mobile games on a console, not on it is mobile games. People are just like sitting there like that, looking at the screen, not playing together, not being in the moment together, you know. And that's what it's about: is bringing people together and all playing together and having fun. It doesn't matter how old the technology is. The Wii was massively underpowered, and look how successful that was. And yes, I know people say, "Oh, it's Nintendo," but everyone's slagged that off when it came out. Everyone was taking the piss and thought Nintendo had lost their mind, and they were wrong. Nintendo proved everybody wrong, myself included. I bought a Wii at launch, but I don't think it'd be 100 million seller. I mean, that was just incredible. So I don't really think the technology actually matters as long as it runs smoothly. It's really about what they're doing with the controller and how they're trying to bring people together again to play around the TV and have fun together. That's the most important thing with Amiko. Yeah, I have modded my Wii. I only do soft modding though, because I don't know how to solder or anything, so I've got no idea about actual modding. But yeah, I mean, and I've had mods done in the past to other consoles like the NES. I got a HD mod done to that. I had the RGB mod on the N64 done. I've soft modded Xboxes loads of times as well, because that's a really good one to do. But yeah, I do like doing things like that. I don't currently have an Xbox One or any Xbox for that matter. I have tried Game Pass. So I tried it on demo, and to be honest, it was just too overwhelming for myself. I couldn't cope with it because I wasn't able to just play a game and then go to another game. I found that I was just downloading loads of games and switching between them constantly. And yeah, so as much as it's a great deal and it's a really good idea, it's not for me. And I've got to agree there, Rab. Whether it's great or not, jumping on to knock something down is misguided completely. If nobody tries to bring something out, how can we know it has a chance? Absolutely. And also, if people are just going to shit on things straight away, how are we ever going to get nice new things to use? Technology doesn't have to be gaming, it can be anything. It's like it just seems to be an immediate thing now. Anything that comes out, people have to immediately crap all over it and they can't be positive. I don't really understand that, but it's internet culture, I suppose. That's it. Yeah, Around the World. That was another one. I forgot about that song. They had quite a few tracks. I don't think I've got any of their early albums. I think the only album I bought back then was when they were at E17. They was doing that. I think it was a cover of a Shy song they did with Gabrielle. I think it's the one with on the train in the video. So I think that's the only album I've actually got of theirs. Here we go. So Rab here he's in New York and he's actually played Amiko. He's gone hands-on with it a few times now at different events. So and you can see him on video as well, so he can prove it. It is a game changer, but I'll let you make up your own mind, which is fair. Just write it on the wall in a massive point so you remember when you do. Oh, and here's some Kool-Aid. I'm far gone with Kool-Aid, mate. I'm drinking it by the gallon, apparently. What's that? What's that? Peeking behind the cupboard? I'm not too sure where, mate. I don't know. You know, where about? I'm not. You have to. What do you mean? There or over there? Which side? No disrespect, Keith. I don't answer personal questions on these. So I share that sentiment and do the same, actually. It's like deciding what to watch on Netflix and eventually not watching anything. Yeah, well, I've done that so many times where you just sit there scrolling endlessly, just like, I can't. Yeah, it's exactly the same situation, you know. Only difference is I'm not jumping in and out of films like I do with games, but yeah, it's a bloody nightmare. So it's a shame because I think that as a service, Game Pass is brilliant. And if you can cope with it and you can just play a game all the way through and then play another game, then yeah, it's absolutely worth it. But yeah, it just doing my head in, to be honest. Jay's in the house. How's it going, mate? Favorite brand and flavor of crisps? Brand is Pringles, although I really like the new. They've got Doritos, they've got one out now, and I can't think what they're called. They're in like a triangular tube, and they're triangular crisps or potato chips from my American friends. They're absolutely fantastic, though. I tend like Pringles is sour cream and onion. That's my main favorite. I really love the salt and vinegar as well. And there was one, it's a pork one. I can't think what it's called. It's not the prawn cocktail one, which is fantastic. There's another one. Oh, I can't think what it is. Quite thick as well, but it's a really nice crisp. And I've gone off the Texas barbecue though. I'm not so much into them anymore. They're a bit crap now. And I love Walkers, or I think they're called Lay's in America. Walkers Ready Salted is still one of the best. Big fan of Skips as well. Another one of my absolute favorites. Yeah, I just like my food, to be quite honest. So this is going really well, guys. Thanks for all this. This is really good. So we've got 27 people in the chat, which is absolutely mad. That's probably a record for my stream so far. And there's some really good questions as well. So just keep them coming. Anything you can think of, just, anything you want to know. So I'm thinking of negativity for new independent consoles started when everyone saw the shit show that was a Calico Chameleon. Absolutely. I think that put a massive dent in a lot of retro collectors and gamers and made people incredibly wary, which I completely understand. But, I look at it as that was a one-man band, whereas this is a shitload of industry vets. These are people who have been doing this for decades and know exactly what they're doing. So that's why I find it hard that people compare them. Especially also as well as the Coleco Chameleon, as far as I understand, never actually had a real prototype. It was a Super Nintendo Mini in a box, whereas the Amiko is legitimately a real console that exists, has been to many events across America, and lots of people have played the system, so it is 100% real. So it's hard to really compare them when you really break it down. But I understand that people are very cautious because of what happened with Chameleon. I was a big supporter of Chameleon at the time. I thought it was a great idea. But, one thing you get from me is honesty all the time. I'll always tell you what I think. I don't give a shit if people think I'm mad. I supported the Wii U at launch. That died on its ass. I supported the Xbox One when they announced that. Something that everyone went ballistic over. And I was sitting there going, oh, well, this TV stuff's great. And everybody else is going, what are you talking about? So it's all perspective as to where you're coming from and what you're looking for in your technology is the way I see it. Yeah, they are absolutely fantastic, mate. They're getting a bit stingy with the amount they put in the bags now. But they're still, some of them, unless you buy a grab bag, then that solves the problem. But yeah, their quality, them are. Yeah, I mean, unlike a lot of the traditional brands like Walkers and the big brands, I find a lot of them that the quality's gone down over the years, whereas Walkers, they seem to have really held the quality up. Some stuff nowadays, it just hasn't got the flavour anymore. Like you find you get at Aldi, and Aldi's own weird name brands are probably better than most of the big brands now. Yeah, I've never heard of them, mate. That's nah, not aware of them. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't love Monster Munch? I mean, and like going off away from crisps a little bit, I love mini cheddars as well, especially if you got a nice cup of coffee or tea to dunk them in, because that's just the best. And I used to do a cheese and onion one of those, the green packet, which was bloody fantastic. Have you tried retro achievements? I don't even know how you do that, mate. Is that on emulation? How's that done? It's maybe go back, really stick to some games to unlock them, help solve too many games, lack of focus issues. I mean, yeah, Evercade's done that for me. It's helped me finish games I'd never finished before. I've been finishing arcade games that I've never been able to do. I've been playing console games and getting through them. And save states and that, there's pluses and minuses, but they're really handy. But I don't know anything about the achievements, how that works, how you set that up. So let me know. Do you really think I'm going to answer that one? Be serious. Come on, Keith. I definitely do not do politics on here because, yeah. And also, I am absolutely not qualified to talk about the ongoing situation in Russia. Which one's the Golden Wonder, mate? I know the name, but I don't know what flavors and what styles of crisps they made. Yeah, now that's a tune. I love that. I've got I'm pretty sure I've got a CD Rave '92 that I bought back in the day, obviously around that time. I'm pretty sure that's on there because it's got oh god, what's that bloody song called now? Trumpton. It's got the Trumpton rave tune on there, which is absolutely brilliant. I love that song. Agree, don't even like saying Coleco Chameleon. Well, Coleco had their name attached to it for about 10 weeks and pulled it when the fracas unraveled. Wasn't there fun? What actually, I sort of wasn't paying as much attention to the Chameleon as I have done with Amiko. I sort of saw what it was and what Mike Kennedy was proposing, and I thought that's really cool. And I talked about it once on my channel, I think, in one video, and I got a load of shit thrown at me when I talked about it because apparently at that point it was unraveling. So I wasn't aware of what the hell was going on. And then I saw a load of YouTubers going on about it, and I saw a thing about being a SNES Mini in a box, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's not coming out. But yeah, that's a real shame. I wonder what Mike Kennedy's doing now. I was waiting for someone to say that. It's not. Honestly, trust me. Don't come in your tea or your coffee, especially black coffee. It makes them taste great. Exactly. We get enough for that, don't we? Yeah, I'm being Switzerland on that one, I think, to be honest. Ah, gotcha. I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know Golden Wonder, but I don't remember most of the different ones they had. Now that's different, Steve. I've never tried that. That why not? I'm sure I'm sure it tastes good. So I like cheese with my crackers. But yeah, I must admit I've never tried that. Well, next time I have some. Lance Jennings in the house. How's it going, Lance? I was watching Lance the other night on Go Game Go. Really great guy. He's been around the Amiko community quite a lot. Really nice guy, and he was one of the panelists on the show the other night. It was really good. That was. Oh mate, I forgot about that one. Yeah, absolutely. All these classic tunes, man. I've been listening to a lot of dance lately. It's really weird. I go through phases of going back. Like a couple of months ago, I was listening to a lot of like 90s pop, like Bewitched and classic pop that I love. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to tons of Euro dance. I've been listening to like Two Unlimited and Magic Affair and MC Ice. And my favourite one was Max Getaway, which is an absolute classic tune. I was playing the hell out of that the other night. God, I love that song. And then I started going down another tangent because I found this channel, this guy called Jay, who interviews like old dance acts and pop acts. And he interviewed Rafe until Unlimited. So I started watching that. And then I started watching some of his other videos. And he interviewed Daphne and Celeste. And I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about them. So then I started listening to Daphne and Celeste songs. And then I found out he interviewed Lolly. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about Lolly as well. So I started listening to Lolly's songs and watching YouTube, Top of the Pops performances. And yeah, I'm just in a bit of a dance mood and a bit of cheesy pop at the moment. Thank you, Lance, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, if anybody wants to hit the like button, that'd be great. Space Raiders, blast from the past there. Jesus. I like that. There you go. If I ever need to change the channel name, that's it. Although in the UK, that might be confused with Swiss Tony. So check out, I don't know if you can find it on look up the Fast Show and Swiss Tony and see what you think of that rap. Yeah. Oh, mate. Now, you see, Branston pickle is one of the greatest things ever invented. Do you like the 'cause normally I have the big chunky one, obviously, because that's the best one. But that new one they've got a spread one there with no bits in it, which is really weird, and I couldn't get my head around that. It tastes the same, but and then they got the one with the little cubes in it as well. But the chunky one is still the best one. Ah, the Mode Leicester. You're saying all the right things tonight. This is good. Oh, and I think we've got a bot. I think that's what that is. So I'll just get rid of that. Yeah, Lance was on the panel with Stu and mind blank. Shit. Jeff. Jesus, why couldn't I think of his name? So yeah, it was a really good show actually the other night. I really enjoyed that. So they were talking a lot of Amiko. No problem at all, Lance. Same, I've met a lot of great Americans and Canadians, and people I wouldn't have met otherwise. The Amiko community has been absolutely fantastic. It's one of the most friendly places I've been so far on the internet. Ah, now that is a bang. You're absolutely right, mate. I love that song. And Hadaway, What Is Love, and yeah, Dr. Alban, man. That Euro stuff is so good. And you listen to it now, and it's just like massive nostalgia overload. Even like some of the later '90s, like actual dance. I'm not a fan of Ibiza and all that kind of thing. It doesn't do it for me. But I was listening to, and I'm going to forget what her name is again. There's a song called Free, and it's not Rosella. It's the other one, Ultranate, and that just reminds me of clubbing because that song was on like every bloody week. Drove me insane. But yeah, good tune. And yeah, and absolutely, I love it. I've got that on VHS as it happens. I've got the music video, and I think I've got Top of the Pops as well. But that was a big. I remember that was a big tune. I think that was around the time when it was like PJ and Duncan and Deuce and those kind of acts. If I remember, I just remember a distinct memory when I was a teenager when that was a big tune. But yeah, I loved Entrance. That was a great song. And Night Crawlers as well was another one. Because my mate at the time had long blonde hair down there. And he looked like the bloke out of Night Crawlers, so we used to all take the piss out of him. So great question, Jay. So I'm using the Saturn pad with my Switch, which I didn't even know you could do that. So that's really cool. And I'm really enjoying it. What are some of your favourite controls? Super Nintendo, obviously, is my favourite of all time. I really love the N64 controller. I know that seems to be like a polarizing one, but I've always loved that controller. I love the analog stick. I like the way that you hold it like that, like a trigger, and it just feels really comfortable. Even the yellow buttons for like camera movement, they actually work quite well, and strafing works really well on it. Shoulder buttons are really solid. Yeah, I really love that controller. Other than those two, I mean, I'd go back to like the Commodore 64 and Amiga days, and the Cruiser joystick, the green, yellow, and pink one, and the Conic Speaking as well. Although the Speaking, I had one a few years ago, and it isn't as good as I remember it being. It feels a bit small and a bit cheap, whereas the Cruiser feels really solid. And yeah, obviously the PlayStation analog control, the first DualShock, is a classic. What else did I like? Just trying to think of all the consoles I've ever played. So I mean, I've never found a controller yet that I think's crap. I just think there's some that are better than others, but yeah, they're definitely some of my favourite ones. Oh, brilliant! Oh, excellent, nice one. Yeah, I forgot you've been over here. Yeah. So check it out. It's really fun. Also, if you get a chance, check out Phone Jacker, which is completely mental, and also oh God, was it just gone? Hang on. Oh, brain's just black. I need help, guys. Keith Lemon, the real person. What was his show called when he used to do Craig David? I'm blanking on the name of the program. Oh God, damn it, that's so annoying. It'll come to me in a minute, and I'll let you know, Rab, because it's a really great show. It's bloody weird, but it's really funny. Bo Selector, that's it. Check out Bo Selector. That'll confuse the hell out of you what that is. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. You know, and Rab's met a lot of people in the Amiko community actually in person as well. And you know, there's another guy called Retro Bro who's a really nice guy. He held an event in Pennsylvania, and they had the Amiko, and Tommy turned up with the Amiko, and Rab and others went there, and they all live streamed, and it was absolutely brilliant. Now that's a great question from Joe. What are your top 3 Amiko games that you're looking forward to? This is really hard, mate. I found it really difficult to narrow them down because there's so many. I would say at the moment it's Astro Smash, Finnegan Fox, and Nitro Derby. And especially now I know that Nitro Derby's finished as well, which blew my mind to find that out last week. I can't believe they've actually done that already. And we've seen nothing of it other than the early footage, which didn't really show us much. So, yeah, I mean, you know, and then there's tons of others that I want to play, but those are absolutely top of my list at the moment. And Nitro Derby probably won't even be at launch, I would think, but it'll be worth waiting for. Yeah, I honestly, I didn't think it, when I had one a few years ago, the stick, and it's probably because I'm older now and I've got bigger hands, and as a kid it's different, but the stick felt really small. And the button was all right, but it just didn't feel as solid as some of the other joys. I mean, I'm not a fan of the, what's it called? The one that everybody buys for the Amiga. The black one with the yellow buttons and the big bally knob thing on top. I can't think what it's called now. It's Blue Tonic's favourite joystick. Zip Stick. I think that, again, it's probably because I'm an adult now, and as a kid it was different, but as an adult I find it's too small in my hands. Whereas with the Cruiser, it's got a really big base on it, and it's got a really sturdy stick. It's a cracking joystick, that is. And it looks great with the pink and the green and the yellow. I know you've always said you weren't really into handhelds, true. But did any ever really grab you? Ever carried aside? Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I had a Game Boy. I won that in a competition for a national newspaper, The Sun. That was absolutely brilliant. I love the Game Boy. Funny enough, you talk about RPGs earlier. I played the hell out of Zelda on the Game Boy. I was quite good at it back then. As an adult, not so much. And then I had the PSP. I imported it from Japan when it first came out because I was dying to play the PSP. And those are the only 2 handhelds I've had the 3DS as well and the DS, but the PSP and the Game Boy are the 2 that really hooked me in, and I couldn't put them down. The PSP took it everywhere, and I think a lot of it is because I don't travel as much anymore. I don't do anything to use a handheld, so it's more like in the house. So like this Evercade gets used, but not as much as the home console. So back when I had the PSP, I was always traveling up and down the country, so I would take it with me all the time, and I'd be on the train. It was really funny because back then it was only available in Japan. And I remember being on the train playing Ridge Racer, and I'm like sitting there, I'm standing, I couldn't get a seat because you can't on British trains. So I'm in the middle of the carriages, and I'm standing there like that, playing Ridge Racer. And you can just feel somebody over your shoulder. And the bloke next to me is just looking over my shoulder, watching me play this bloody thing. I was like, okay. But yeah, the PSP was fantastic. No way. Somebody recently remixed Nightcrawler, Blonde Singer feature. I'll have to look that up, mate. Is it on YouTube? I'll have a look for that. So I've got it in my head at the moment. The original song's going around in my head. That's it. Thank you, Real McCoy. I was trying to think of the name. Yeah, Another Night. I love that song. It's a great track. How Do I What Is Love? Technotronic Pump Up the Jam. Yeah, all classic tunes, man. You know, if I could get to my CDs, I'd bring my CDs over, and but I'm connected with the mic, so I can't. But yeah, that's great. Also, anyone who's into 2 Unlimited as well, if you've never listened to Anita Duff's solo album, I managed to get a copy a few years ago from Netherlands, and it's really, really good. Hell yeah. I love that show. That Craig Davis, the thing that always made me laugh was when he did Michael Jackson and Ronnie Barker in prison, and he was doing the time travel. That's still one of the greatest things I've ever seen now. Ronnie Barker. Really funny. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Happy Trigger Happy, I'll get my words out, is absolutely brilliant as well. I don't know how those shows would translate outside the UK, but absolute genius. Oh, nice one. Another food question. I'll tell you what is delicious. Chicken and mushroom pot chili sauce. Well, I've never tried that, but chicken and pot noodle, chicken and mushroom is absolutely superb. It's a classic. Aldi cheesy puffs. I've not seen them yet. In salsa. Oh, nice. So when it comes to pot noodle, I'm all about the Bombay Bad Boy. That is a kick-ass pot noodle. That I've never even heard of that, mate. I don't know what that is. So was that on TV or what is that? Oh, thank you, mate. Yep, zip stick, exactly. Yeah, I mean, 80s and 90s were great for sitcoms. Yeah, not so much now. To be fair, I don't watch a lot of British TV now. I find that most of it's crap. Doesn't appeal to me. I watch dramas, but that's it. And those are hit and miss as well. I mean, that new one, Trigger Point, that was going nowhere in the first 2 episodes. And I was like, oh, this is a bit cheap, a bit amateur. But then the third episode got really good. So, but we do get the occasional good one. I'm just trying to think what I watched recently that was really good. I know there was one on the BBC. What the hell was it I watched? I don't know. It'll come to me. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Don't even consider the Switch a handheld. Love it for docked. Too uncomfortable in handheld. I had a Switch when it came out, and I always had it docked. I think I played it probably once in handheld mode. That was it. Bit of Street Fighter 2. But yeah, it felt weird to me to have it handheld. I didn't feel right. It didn't feel natural. And especially when I was playing Mario Odyssey, I wanted it on the big screen, which is a bloody amazing game. Yeah. Is that actually true? Because I remember reading that or hearing that, and yeah, that's funny. I mean, it's funny in a way, but it's not because it could have tanked his career. So good on Craig David for making a comeback because he's doing quite well now. But yeah, I must admit, it must have been absolutely horrendous for him at the time. Yeah. To be fair, all pot noodles are great. I mean, you can't go. Even the beef and tomato one's really nice. You can't go wrong with pot noodles. No worries, Rab. Well, thank you for stopping by, mate. I appreciate that. And yeah, check out the comedy, see what you think. Be interested to get your viewpoint on that. See you, mate. Oh, here we go. So it's on Channel 4, Spoof 8. Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. Oh, okay, I've never heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that. That's the one with Simon Pegg, isn't it? Spaced. I've never actually watched that, but I've heard of it. Cool. Yeah. So Pam and Tommy, I didn't bother even looking into that, to be honest. Reacher, I'm not sure. I watched the first episode, which was really good, but I haven't gone back and watched any more. I mean, this week I've had so many things to watch, and it seems like everything's getting bloody box sets at the moment. It's like they had a new show on BBC One called Chloe, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, I'm not watching any more of that. Just not for me at all, but that's a box set as well. I've still not finished Around the World in 80 Days. I've still got 2 more of those to watch. I can't think I watched something else the other day. But it seems like everything at the moment, they put an episode on and then it goes straight into more bloody box set. The one show I would recommend everybody to watch at the moment, though, is called Suspicion, which is on Apple. They put out 2 episodes last week and the third one's out tomorrow. That is a brilliant show. I'd absolutely 100% recommend that above everything else right now. It's the best Apple show I've seen. Most Apple shows I've watched one season and that was enough. But that is really good. So check out Suspicion. Yeah, absolutely. All the classics right there. Only Fools and Horses, Fawlty Towers, Porridge, Blackadder. Love Red Dwarf. I mean, brilliant show. That's one good thing about our country. We have some absolutely incredible TV. Back in the day, not so much now. Bloody hell, we've got 27 people in the chat. I love that. The chat suddenly jumps and I'm like, hang on, where am I? I haven't, Isaiah. The only thing I've ever had in that respect was Garbage Pail Kids when I was a kid with the bubble gum. So I used to love them. They were brilliant. That's something that should come back. But yeah, I never got into like football cards and sports cards and all that. But I did love my Garbage Pail Kids. Oh, wow. That's a throwback. Bread. Yeah, I love Bread. I was watching something recently. I can't think what it was. It was a drama one recently. And I was like, that's the bloke out of Bread. I'm sure it is. Yeah, that was a great show. So unfortunately, a lot of those comedies now, you probably wouldn't be able to make them because people who ever moan about it wouldn't know, they just get upset about it. So you'd have to make them modern, which would make them shit. So yeah, absolutely. Young Ones bottom classics. Young Ones is brilliant. I love the Young Ones. You probably wouldn't be able to do that anymore either. They probably moan about that one as well. To be fair, I think people just complain about bloody everything nowadays, though. Yeah, I've heard about this. Is it a comedy? I know. I was trying to think. I watched someone do an interview the other day who's involved in it. But yeah, I've watched a couple of Apple shows. What was that one? There was one I watched, which was, well, I watched the first season of it. I got bored in the second season, which was Octavia Spencer. That's it. I can't think what the program is called, where she does a podcast and she solves crimes. The first one was good. The second one just bollocks. And I watched the morning show. I watched first season. I really liked it. Started watching second season, got bored. Even though I love Reese Witherspoon, but I just thought, nah, I can't really get. I find a lot of Apple shows, they seem to be really slow going. And I don't mind slow shows if it leads somewhere, but sometimes I just get bored and I want to just get some pace and get going. But yeah, and I've watched others as well. Invasion was another one. Invasion done my nuts. I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, where's the aliens? And my dad watched the whole thing, and apparently there still were no aliens. Even right at the end, it was just like glimpses. So I was like, how can you do an invasion show and not show the bloody aliens? Yeah, they were really cool back then. Monster in my pocket, little Wolfie, nice, yeah. Pogs, yeah. I think Pogs were after me. I think I'm a bit too old for them, but yeah. But Garbage Power, fantastic. That's funny you mentioned that, Lance. I was watching the English version. Oh, okay, cool. I was watching the American version on YouTube the other night with is it Aisha Tyler? I think what used to be in Ghost Whisperer and does a lot of gaming stuff. And I love that. The tall Canadian bloke, he's so funny. I've forgotten how good that show is. I was watching clips where they do the bit where they can only ask questions. I was absolutely pissing myself. It's one of the, you forget how good these shows are, Okay, have I missed something? What's that all about? I don't know. Yeah, there is, and it's crap, mate. It started out the first season was a bit wonky. There was up and down quite a lot in the episodes, but it was a good solid season. The second season just got crap, and it went a bit woke, and I was just like, nah. The problem they've got, I find, is Queen Latifah is not good in the role. She's good in the second season. They allow her to shoot more people, which works better. Because in the first season they try to get her to fight people, and she can't do choreography. She can't fight. She looks ridiculous. And also, there's a guy, I don't know the actor's names in loads of things. He plays a character called Harry, if I remember rightly, who's like her tech guy. And the way that they've styled the character is ridiculous because he's so overdressed. And it just didn't work very well. I mean, I personally think the logical option would have been Maggie Q. Maggie Q did Nikita and she was brilliant at that. And she looks like a CIA agent and she can fight. I mean, it's not hard. Yeah, Queen Latifah was not a good choice. So, do you go game hunting or do you buy online? From a 360 online, mate, all the time. The reason being is I don't go to CEX and all those because the discs are scratched and it does my nutting. Because like PlayStation 3 being Blu-ray, I think they've got a coating or something. So then usually you can just buy them and it's not a problem. But with 360, most of them are scratched to shit. So I tend to just go on eBay and then just ask questions and annoy people who are selling the games by asking them, your £2 game is a disc scratched because I know it probably doesn't matter, but it just annoys me when the disc is all mashed up. Do you have Apple TV? No, I don't. I don't support Apple at all. So can play Apple Arcade and it's great if you want to click. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the company, mate. So no, unfortunately, I don't. That's it. Thank you, Ryan and Colin. That was it. Absolutely. I swear, I was doing that bit where they only ask questions. I was in absolute peace. It's so funny. No worries, mate. Thank you for stopping by and enjoy your pizza. Adios. Yeah, I don't know. Have I got the Mario one? I don't know if I've got the Mario one or not. I'm not sure if it's on one of my CDs. I don't think it is. Because I was looking to buy it a while ago, the CD on eBay. Because I absolutely love the Super Mario song. It's fantastic. And yeah, I remember the Tetris one, absolutely. Now, it's really weird how your brain works. And if someone says something like that to you, and straight away the song starts playing in your head. Really bizarre. You can, yeah. I mean, I tend to when I buy stuff from CEX, like, because I don't know if you've had the same, but I always find that when you stand at the counter with a stack of games, they always try and palm off the platinum editions and classic editions. So I have to stop them and say, "Would you mind getting the proper one?" You know, that annoys me as well. I always have that happen. Oh, that's a tune, yeah. Turtle Power. I love that song. That first film is so good. It still holds up so well today, and it's really surprising how dark that film is as well. I watched it a couple of years back when I bought the Blu-ray box set. It's absolutely superb. What a tune! And everything about that was right. The film was right. The soundtrack was right. Even the poster with the turtles when he's holding up the manhole. So cool. That's how you do it the right way. You take it seriously as well. By the way, you don't arse it. When it comes to video game movies, love live action Street Fighter. Bloody hell, okay. A lot of it's mostly nostalgia, of course, yeah. I do think it's entertaining. Yeah, I mean, that's it. There's lots of films like that. That's the thing, mate. That's the beauty of all entertainment, isn't it? It's, you know, if it makes you happy, that's all that matters. We all like things that people don't like. Now, that would piss me off. That's what whenever I go to CEX, I always stand there and have a good conversation with the person and just, you know, make sure that everything's the way I want it to be. Good question, Joe. It's still a backlog. I've literally got a list like that long at the moment. I've got so many games I have got to buy. With the price of the games as well, what I'm doing right now is I'm buying more 360 stuff because it's dirt cheap, and just get that sorted out. And then hopefully by the time I've got the 360 to a decent level, PS4 games will have come down even more. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't already. I think once the PS5 is like easy to buy and it's everywhere, then the PS4 games should come down to really low prices. But you know, yeah. I mean, I'm still deciding what to buy next. I'm probably going to buy Days Gone. I think that's the next one to play. Will you try streaming games down the road? And do you think the time will come when you'll just stick to retro? Streaming, I'd like to, but to be honest, I don't know. I've got OBS, but it's figuring out how the hell you set it up and what you do. So I'll have to look into it, Jay, and see if I can do it. And I don't know if it's going to stream smoothly or not. Or I'll have to do it. What I have to do is find out how to do it, and I'll do a test before I go live. And yeah, if I can get it to work, the only thing that worries me is I might get distracted and not to look at the chat. I'll just be playing the game. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to it. And do you think there's a time when you'll just stick to retro? Not really. I mean, it's a possibility, but I doubt it because if Amiko, when Amiko comes out, that'll be retro style games anyway from what I'll be playing on it. And I've got the Evercade, so that's retro. So PS4 will be the most recent, and I've got 360. So, I mean, I'm still not convinced about getting into the next generation. So, yeah, I mean, by the time the way things are going, not the 360, I suppose, is classed as retro now. I mean, it's now what, 3 generations away? Is it? No, 2 generations away? Yeah, 2 generations, isn't it? So it's already heading into that zone. So yeah, I suppose in that respect, maybe. Oh, there you go. What's your personal rule on when something is retro? Personally, I say 2 generations back is retro. PS3, 360. Yeah, I think that's about right, mate. To be honest, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, the 360 came out in 2005, so you know, what's that, 17? Well, just over 16 years. It was December, wasn't it? So yeah, 16 years, bloody hell. So I suppose, yeah, that is definitely a retro. It's weird to call it a retro console, but yeah, it is now. That's mad, that is. But then again, it's weird that one day a PS4 will be considered retro as well. Yeah, I mean, I did answer this earlier, Keith. I have. He's asking me about board games. So yeah, I don't play board games like in traditional sense, but when they're on Amiko, I'm going to give them a try and see how they play. Yeah, you know what, mate? I'm actually surprised just in how good the graphics look. I was playing Medal of Honor Airborne earlier, and it's not the most graphically amazing game, but it looks really nice on 360. I was really surprised how well it holds up. And there's a lot of games. I mean, some of the early stuff, some of it looks good, some of it looks rough. But as you go through the generation, you get to like Modern Warfare 3 and those kind of games. They still look fantastic to me. And do you actually own a Super Nintendo anymore? No, Keith, I don't. I don't own any retro consoles. They've all gone, mate. So all I own at the moment is a Wii, PS4, Xbox 360, Evercade VS, and the Evercade handheld. Just started PS4 backlog after buying PS5. Missed out on that generation after buying the Xbox One. Okay, cool. Hope the enhanced versions of Zero Dawn and God of War. Yeah, I mean, I still find it weird they've done an enhanced version of the two Uncharted games. That's just mental, that is. I mean, it's good for you, mate, if you didn't have a PS4 and you've got a PS5, so you can play Uncharted 4, which I'm envious of you playing that for the first time, because I've played that a lot, and that game is amazing. And then Uncharted Lost Legacy as well, so I'd recommend those two. Retro Gamer Hysteria. What do you think about the change at the top of Intellivision, and what could it mean for its release? I'll be honest, mate, it didn't really make any difference to me. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but it's like, it's from what I've read about the reasons why Tommy has now gone from CEO, president and CEO to president and chief creative officer. It all makes sense. He's got a lot going on in his personal life. It's a lot of responsibility being CEO, and he's passed the business side down to Phil Adam, which makes it easier, takes that pressure off him, and he can just concentrate on making the games great, which is going to be a great thing going forward, I think. What could it mean for release? Well, what I've been hearing, and you can only go by what they tell you, nothing's really changed. It's still the main circle of people like Phil, John Alvarado, Nick, and Tommy, all working together, making decisions together. So I don't think it's actually going to make any difference in terms of the release. The only thing that's going to make difference in terms of release is finances, from what I can say. So as long as they can get the funding, they can get. And I know they've got this campaign going on to get more investment, but from what I understand, and Phil said last night, they're going to be putting the date out at the end of the month, so they must have everything in order. But who knows? I don't work in television, so I've got no idea. But I think the change isn't that big a deal, to be quite honest. I think it's a sensible choice, a good decision they've made. Keith, why are you asking me about a SNES? I've already told you. I don't have one. I don't, mate. I have my Wii is original, so it's got the flap where you can play the GameCube, plug the GameCube controls in. But I haven't bought any GameCube games, and I'm assuming they're expensive because I know they were going up at one point. Other than Mario Sunshine, I can't think of any GameCube games I'd really want to get, to be honest with you. To be honest, I don't really use the Wii unless I'm playing the Super Nintendo emulator. That's about all I use it for now. Cheers for replies. No worries, mate. Enjoy the rest of the evening. No worries if you're off. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Chinese takeaway. Nice. Eight for Justice. I watched that not long ago, mate. Not as good as I remember. Watch, if you're still watching this, check out, what's it called? The other one, Mark for Death. I watched all the early Steven Seagals recently. I got them on Blu-ray. And Mark for Death is the one that holds up the best. It's absolutely brilliant. Oh, okay. Well, that's what you've done about the Street Fighter, the animated. Okay, cool. If you haven't seen the original manga, yeah, I've never seen it, mate. The only like Street Fighter film I've seen besides the original, like the main Hollywood film, there was a Chun-Li film, a live action Chun-Li film that was pretty decent. I watched that one. Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. No worries. I'm not in any rush at the moment. I'm just, enjoying the games I've got. But, if I think of anything, I'll give you a shout. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Next gen steps are not as big as before, like 8 to 16, 16 to 32 and upwards. Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, I look at PS5 and Xbox, and I'm like, why am I paying all that money for ray tracing? Well, I don't care about ray tracing. I mean, it's one of those things that the first time you see it, like HDR, you're going to go, oh, wow, that looks really nice. and then after half an hour playing the game, you just completely forget you've got ray tracing turned on, and because you're in the game. So yeah, it's the games that get me to go next gen. The graphical upgrade now is not really there. I can't tell the difference between a PS5 and a PS4 Pro. Now maybe like as per usual, when it's early in the console generation, there isn't a big difference and they get better as they go on. But I don't really see it being a huge difference. And it really is just about the game. So when James Bond, Perfect Dark, Indiana Jones come out, or no Uncharted, I might get interested, but it's going to take a lot. No worries, Jay. Thank you, mate. Just watch it in replay, mate. It's no worries. Yeah, I forgot about that. Monkey Ball was great. That's a great game. I appreciate that, Keith. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for sticking with the channel as well. Thank you to everybody who stuck with my channel for so long. I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, I gave up on Steven Seagal a long time ago. I like his music though. His music's great, but his films not so much. I think for me it's like Nico, Hard to Kill. Was it Hard to Kill? That's not right, is it? What's the no, Nico, Marked for Death, Out for Justice. Is it Hard to Kill? I don't know. Whatever the first four are, they're really good. Under Siege is decent. I quite liked the one with DMX, which has gone out of my head what the name of it was. I remember watching the one in prison when he was with the other rapper whose name I'm forgetting. The Ashanti rapper. What's his bloody name there? Anyway, that was a crap film, that was. But yeah, a lot of this, he just knocks out any old shit now. He's not Bruce Willis, he just doesn't care, but he's a bit worse than Bruce Willis. Oh, there you go, on the stage. Yeah, I watched Out for Justice, mate, not long ago. I got it on, did I get it on? Yeah, I got it on DVD, I think. No, that's what it was. I was going to do that, and I watched it on streaming first. I was going to buy it, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh, that doesn't age well. So the first three films are my favourites. Marked for Death. I managed to finally get a UK Blu-ray release because apparently it's out of print, and I got a good deal on it, and it's such a good film. It really holds up well. Oh, I appreciate that, mate. You don't need to do that. I've got ways I can find it, you know. But thank you. Now that's what I'm talking about, mate. UN Squadron, great game. I love the soundtrack on that game. Although I've never understood why that game is louder than any other Super Nintendo cartridge for some reason. The volume's way up on it. Absolutely. It really is. Thank you. Above the Law, that's it. Nico Above the Law. Exit Wounds, that's the one with DMX, yeah. And then it was, what kind of think of that bloody Ja Rule? Is there. Ja Rule, that's it, yeah. That was a shite film. Yeah, that was a Murder Inc., wasn't it? I remember rightly. But yeah, Nico, Above the Law, and Marked for Death. Everybody, if you've never seen those films and people only know Steven Seagal as the big fat bloke who don't do anything anymore, who's a crap actor, watch them films because he can actually. It's so sad when you watch them films because he had so much potential. Because his acting was excellent, his fighting is phenomenal. The action in the films is just great, and the storylines are really decent as well, especially Marked for Death in particular. It's a bit stereotypical for the time, but it's so good. I want to play some backlog PS3 games. Would you recommend a fat PS3 or a slim, super slim Foreman grill? More reliable. Tough Goal, I guess the original one has PS2 compatibility. Yeah, I think, me personally, it comes down to what you like. First of all, what it looks like. I think the fat one looks better. It's the coolest looking system. I've always liked that. But then if you're buying a second-hand one, you're thinking, oh, it's really, really gloss, so it's probably going to be scratched and battered. So that would put me off. And you've got Yellow Light of Death and all, which apparently some console. I never had that happen, thank God, touch wood. The Slim is the one I normally go for. The Slim's absolutely brilliant, very reliable, no issues. But as you say, the fat one, you've got the backwards compatibility with the 60 gig model. So that's really good. So it depends if you want backwards compatibility. Are you bothered about it being damaged and scratched and the Yellow Light of Death? Or do you want something that's reliable? I'd get the Slim. The Super Slims, I'm just going to swear them, but it's absolutely horrendous. I hate that. I don't understand how they went from the PS3 Fat, which was like this really expensive, like they're trying to make it like a luxury technology in your living room, to the Super Slim, which looks like a Fisher Price toy with some shitty little plastic slide on it. I don't get that. I don't know what the hell Sony were thinking with that one. That was shocking. What's your best ever video game find in the wild? In the wild, oh my god. The only thing I can think of was it probably a couple of years ago when I started collecting the original Xbox again. I found a UK PAL copy, a proper Peggy copy of Painkiller for 15 quid in CEX, which that ain't going to happen anymore. And the UK, there's loads of American copies always on eBay. I never knew it got released here. And I finally found a proper one in mint condition. I've got a video on my channel. Yeah, I was well chuffed with that. Another bloody bots. Yeah, there you go. Fat Joe, man. Rest in peace. Oh, is he not dead? No, it's Big Pun that's dead, isn't it? I'll take that back then. Yeah, Fat Joe's not fat anymore. That's what it is. Yeah, I used to like Fat Joe. He was all right. He was good. I've just cursed Fat Joe now. Shit. Yeah, it really is. It's absolutely vile. I can't stand the Super Slim. I just don't understand what the logic was behind that. It's just, ugh. There you go. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I think the slim line is probably the best option. It's really reliable. I've never had a problem with that. And it also looks really nice as well. Didn't the fat one as well, if I remember rightly, has those, like, they're not actual buttons, they're like the sensitive things, which I can't stand those bloody things. Whereas the slim's got an actual power button, which is much better. So this has gone really well tonight, guys. Thank you for this. So I appreciate everybody's come in the chat and drop questions. So it's a good, solid show. I'm enjoying doing this every week so far. It's been going well. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do one this week, and I just thought, what the hell? You know, there's bound to be things to be talking about. So I thought I'd jump on. That's a great question, you know. I'm surprised it didn't do an extra, because what we got, the PS4 Slim, and the Pro, wasn't it? That's all we got on that one. I think also it'd be nice if, I mean, I know PS5 is a bit of a bold choice, but it'd be nice if consoles looked nice as well. They had a bit of a different, instead of a black slab. I mean, the PS5, I actually saw one in the shop, and it isn't as massive as I thought. I mean, it's big, but, you know, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X surprised me. I saw one X even. I saw it in CEX. That is so small. I'm really impressed with that. It's a really nice form factor, that one. I must admit, if it wasn't for the fact that they probably will have an Uncharted game on PS5, if I was going next gen, I'd probably go Xbox. Tiny console, good ecosystem, exclusives are a bit of a pain. But yeah, I must admit, I'd probably just go with that, because at least it ain't going to dominate the living room. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the channel for a few years as well. That's really good. Yeah, this is just something new I've started to do. I've only done 3 so far. This is my 3rd one. So I just thought I'd give it a try, because everybody's streaming these days, isn't they? So, you know, I'm trying my best. And Keith, if you're still watching, you didn't tell me what's in the background that you was asking about. I don't know what he's asking about. That's an interesting point, Jay. I mean, I think they did a revision not long ago. They changed some of the internals or something because of the way the parts are and whatnot. But it'd be interesting to see if they ever they will do a Slim eventually. But how are they going to do it sooner than later? Because obviously it's taking ages to get the PS5 into shops and things. But you know, would PSVR 2 factor into a decision? I saw a vid speculating it will have very high price. It would have, but a good friend of mine, Shen Muso on YouTube, was talking to him on, I think it was last week's stream or the week before, and he was saying, I think he was saying like 400 to 500 quid, and I was like, hell no. This is the problem, man. Next generation is going the PC route now. The consoles are really expensive. The accessories are really expensive. It's just one of the many reasons I'm just not getting involved in it. This is a great question. Were you nervous before Tommy Tallarico interview? Yeah, a little bit, mate. The truth is, I wasn't going to do it. Tommy left a comment on one of my videos, and he said, like, if you ever want to do an interview, just give me a shout. And I was like, cool. and I really appreciated the offer. And I thought nothing of it after that, because I'm not an interviewer. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a person. I'm civilian. I have no idea how to interview people. And I wasn't going to do it. And I just appreciated the offer. And then I was sitting there the one day and I thought, well, if I was to do it, how would I do it and what would I ask him? And I just wrote down a lot of questions and I got ready for it. And I thought, why not just throw it out? This was when I was on Twitter as well. So I just sent him a DM and said, yeah, if you want to do it, let's do it. And he was like, yeah, cool, whenever you're ready. And we arranged the time. And it was a weird experience, because at first I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But as I got into it, because Tommy's so nice, he just makes it really easy, because Tommy just talks. And so, it's a really easy conversation. But yeah, I was, I've got anxiety as well, so that doesn't help me, panic attacks and all that crap. So yeah, but I'm glad I did it in a way, because it gave me the confidence to know that I can do something like that. I'm actually capable of it. And I'd say Tommy made it really easy as well. Tommy gets a lot of shit, but I think he's a really good guy. And, he puts himself out there. Not so much now, obviously, but back then he was everywhere on everyone's channel. He would talk to absolutely anyone, didn't care how many subscribers you got. And to me, that's a lot of respect for a person who can do that. Because a man in his position does not need to do any interviews. So, have you had, or do you intend to get an arcade one up? Thoughts either way. I've got Street Fighter 2 cab. Oh nice, didn't even know that existed. Modded it to have thousands of games. Yeah, I looked at them, but I never got into them. They're not cheap either. I thought the Turtles one looked good. I think that's in America only. There's a 4-player cabinet. That would have been really nice to have that one. But yeah, I never got into them. I know, like, Daz Cajones de Loro had a load of them at the back of his screen at one point. That was really nice to see. I think they're great. Again, it's like Evercade, isn't it? It's like, if you're not into collecting the actual thing, you just want something to play, they absolutely have a place. I think they're a great idea. Thank you, Keith. Thanks for saying that, mate. Yeah, I do have anxiety. Being on camera is not so hard, because I'm not around people, so it makes it a lot easier. Tommy strikes me as a Peter Molyneux, means well, but he's prone to overextending, promising. Yeah, I mean, he probably does. He probably regrets saying some things he said. But I think Tommy's is because he's a nice guy. He wants to please people, doesn't he? And like you say, it's probably like Peter Molyneux in that respect. He wants, people to have a good time and be entertained, and he wants to please people. And sometimes, we're only human, aren't we? Just because he's famous and he's in a position where he's had a really great career and he's running a company, he's still going to make mistakes. He's still going to say the wrong thing. We all do it. I just think people should just remember that we're not perfect people. We're human beings. We all say things we probably shouldn't say. We probably promise things we shouldn't promise. Well, that's a heavy question, Keith. What's the best thing about being alive in 2022? Being alive, the bloody pandemic, and not having COVID. That's probably the best thing about 2022 so far. 2009, Will. Bloody hell, thank you, mate. I can't believe I'm still on here either. Eventually, it has to come to an end. There has to be a day when I say, that's it, I'm done. I don't know how you do that, though, unless YouTube gets thrown away and like Google do something else. But thank you for sticking with the channel, mate. I mean, bloody hell, that's a long, long time. Thanks, Keith. I mean, so far it's going well. I can't promise anything, but I'm actually enjoying making videos at the moment. The videos I've been doing this year have been getting good reception. It's been nice having the comments from people and having interaction again. And I feel more confident in what I'm doing as well. I do indeed, mate. I love a steak and kidney. All steak is my favourite, and chicken and mushroom I love. I also love the mince one, but the mince one, Tesco's don't seem to sell it. You can only get it in Asda, which I don't understand that. It must be an exclusivity thing or something. But I love a pucker pie. Well, that's a cheerful thought. Thanks for that. Great question, Justin. I do. I used to watch mostly, in fact, 99% of what I watched was retro gaming channels. These days, not so much. I watched a bit of retro gaming, and most of what I watch is non-gaming stuff now. So I watch like travel channels. I watch UFO or UAP podcasts and videos about that. I watch a lot of music videos, catching up on classic tunes and things like that. So I don't watch, and obviously I watch a shitload of Amiko content. Amiko is like, in terms of gaming, is like the number one thing that I watch. So I watch like most Amiko content creators. I watch podcasts. Every week I watch, the Retro Bro has Amiko After Dark on a Saturday night, and then Amiko Forever on Chuck's channel, DJC Game Studios, on a Wednesday. Love both of those shows. The other night I was watching Go Game Go, who's just come in the chat there, Jeff. So yeah, there's some absolutely great content on YouTube at the moment. Thanks, Keith. That's really nice of you to say that, mate. Thank you, mate. Yeah, if anyone's watched me, like I think it was Will said, watched me since 2009, they know the kind of person I am, and I don't bullshit. I just say what I think, and I'm enthusiastic about things that people aren't enthusiastic about, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's a great question, Will. As far as I know, X-File, I don't think he's on YouTube. I'm not 100% on that. I think he's on Instagram. He was doing horror films last time I saw him. But yeah, Marcus is definitely around. He's still floating around. Hey, Jeff, no worries, mate. I was just saying earlier, because Lance was in here. I really enjoyed that. Go Game Go. Jeff and Stu are really, really nice people. They had me on their channel early on when I first started talking to people in America about Amiko. And so I really respect them for that, for getting me on there, because they didn't know who I was. So that was really cool. Christian's in the house. Hello, mate. Why did you decide to sell your original Xbox and PS3? I just needed to get out of collecting, mate. Basically, that's the main thing. It was not good for my mental health, so I needed a break from all of it. So I sold it all. Do I regret it? Yeah, some of it I do, but I'm glad that I did, because it made a massive difference. And I feel much better for doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's not to say that I will never, ever own an original Xbox or a PS3 again. If you you guys watching my channel, you know what I'm like. But at the moment, I feel completely calm about it all. I think the Evercade helps a lot, actually. The Evercade really does make a difference. Even though it's like older, like 8 and 16, and 32, but Nice, Jeff. Are you following the current UAP situation in America with Lou Elizondo? Because I'm having major skepticism around all of this at the moment. And you know what? I was watching a podcast the other night. I won't say which one, a UAP podcast, where they had Luis Elizondo and Christopher Mellon on there, and it was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching here. All the people in the chat were all believers. There was no skeptics in the chat. And it was just weird, because it was like they were just lapping it up, and they were just like, yeah, it's absolutely true. Aliens, yeah, 100%. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Ask some questions here, because Lou Elizondo seems very legitimate, but he could easily be a plant. He could not a plant. He could be a front for the American government here. I just don't. The whole Bob Lazar thing has twisted it for me. It makes me think there's something more going on here. Now, there are things flying around that the government don't know what they are. But the problem is, they say they don't know what they are, but then you listen to what Bob Lazar says about S4, and that doesn't make sense. They must know what they are. So I'm really confused. I'll never get Lou Elizondo on my channel, but that's somebody I would not be able to interview, because I wouldn't have a clue what to ask him, other than the question I want answered. That one question doesn't do much. Great question, Keith. As I've never travelled outside the UK, I want to go to France, Spain, Netherlands, Germany, America, Canada, Japan, Australia. I'll probably never get there, it's too far. And I want to go to like Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, all around that area, because I want to see the lights, and I just love wintry countries. I think that'd be incredible, especially at Christmas time. It'd be amazing. Shane in the house. How's it going, Shane? Hope you're well. I've seen you had lots of negative comments on your videos. Part of the course these days, mate. Ignore that shit. You're watching on TV or streaming online. Thank you, mate. I tend to ignore it the best I can. I am fallible like everybody. I do make the odd mistake and do respond to the odd comment, and I shouldn't, but I'm learning. What are you watching on TV or streaming online? At the moment, I've been watching Trigger Point on ITV, which is not great. I started trying to watch Chloe on BBC One, which was crap. I'm trying to think. There was something I watched recently that was really good. I think it was on the BBC, but I can't think what it was. But the main thing I'm watching at the moment, I said earlier, was a show called Suspicion, which is on Apple TV. They've had 2 episodes, the third one tomorrow, and that is a really, really cool show. And I didn't say what the premise was earlier, but basically, it's like Uma Thurman plays. I can't think if she's a media mogul or not. I can't remember what the company is that she runs, but she runs a company, and her son gets kidnapped in America, and the police and the FBI think that it's 3 people from England that have done it, and it sort of goes back and forth between London and New York. And it's a really, really good show. I'm really enjoying that. Streaming online, not really. I was just saying, I'm mostly watching like travel stuff, Alien podcasts, and Amiko content. That's really about it at the moment. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that, mate. I'm trying my best. I've got no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just, I'm like the American guys. They've got a real way of doing this. They know how to present. I don't. I'm bloody useless. So that's why I just do it as an AMA, because I think it's easier. Oh, cool. Yeah, you go. So Justin, van life channels. Yeah, they're really, actually, you know what, mate? I watch a travel channel called The Endless Adventure. I've been watching them for a few years now. They're absolutely great. A couple called Eric and Alison, and they've got a what do you call it? I can't think what you call the van. RV. Thank you. They've got an RV, and they've just near enough finished doing the RV up now. They're going to travel around America in the RV, and that's been brilliant to watch. I love watching those videos. Electronic repair channels are great. I used to watch Retro Man Cave when he used to like repair old computers, and I used to find that fascinating because I ain't got a clue about that kind of thing. As you say, they're 2 things you'll never do, but enjoy watching. Yeah, that's what I love about YouTube. There's so much content out there, and it's like, even though YouTube will throw me videos that I think, why are you recommending that to me? But then every now and again, it'll throw a video at me that'll either be nostalgic or it'll be something I've never thought of looking at, and I'll watch it. I'm like, oh, I watched a guy recently. He did a documentary on YouTube about flat earthers. I'd never watch that normally, but he did a whole thing about why people believe the earth is flat. Fascinating. Bloody mental, but fascinating. Oh, thanks. Jay, I would love to, mate. I really genuinely would, because you're one of the nicest guys I've met on YouTube, and we've known each other a long time. So that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if there are any gaming events. I don't, Will. What was that? Is that a British show? I'm not too sure, mate. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, really, Christian. It's about making life choices and what's right at the time. I mean, it is difficult when you're a collector to just sell it all, but sometimes it's the right choice. Everyone's different. I mean, some people can just put it all away and then bring it back out when they're ready. But for me, it was better to just sell, because it was just getting to a really bad point. I don't know that one. Not heard of that one. Oh, mate. Thank you, Dan. It's not an easy thing to deal with at all. I've been dealing with it quite a lot for a long time. Yeah, it's not fun, is it? So you just have to keep pushing on. That's what I'm doing. I'm just, every day, is a new day, and just, yeah, good days and bad days. At least I do. Here we go. Big question of the night: Aladdin on SNES or Mega Drive? Mega Drive. I think it's got to be. I mean, that game is the better game, but I really love the Super Nintendo version. It's a really fun game. I think they've both got the merits, but yeah, I mean, the Mega Drive game is better because you get the sword, the art style's better. But the Super Nintendo one, I mean, I'm a Super Nintendo guy, It's a tough one to choose, though. Ah, nice. I remember hearing Bob Lazar. This is Jeff, by the way. I remember hearing Bob Lazar on Coast to Coast with Art Bell years ago. He was on with John Lear. Yeah, I was listening to Coast to Coast recently, and it was George Knapp was hosting it, and he had Lou Elizondo on again. If you're not looking into any of the UAP stuff, I mean, I know in America where Jeff is, it's been all over the news since 2017, so you probably do know about it, Jeff. But yeah, it's been an interesting thing to look into. Luis Elizondo is a fascinating guy. And somebody's done a hit piece on YouTube recently, which is what that podcast was about the other night, when they were trying to say that the hit piece was bullshit. And, you know, some of it might be, but who knows what the truth is. But I still find Bob Lazar, out of all of the things I've ever seen about UFOs, Bob Lazar is the most compelling story I've ever seen. Because I don't see any legitimate reason why he would lie, other than he could be working for the government, of course. But, I mean, the way he comes across, he always comes across incredibly genuine. And like he doesn't really want to be involved in all this. And, you know, people keep asking him. I mean, whether we'll find out the truth, probably not. I mean, I think the most logical answer to all of this is a military black ops, basically, Area 51, just, you know, craft that has not been announced. Probably last year when I had the CRT TV, because then I had the Wii set up. So I usually generally always go to Mario Kart. That sounds familiar. I'm not sure. I haven't, mate. What channel is that on TV, or what is that? Yeah, you know what, Will? Do you watch The Basement Office on YouTube? That's really good. I think it's the New York Post that do that with Nick Pope. I like Nick Pope, and I've been watching a few of his interviews recently that he's done. But it's problem I've got is I've been following UFOs for decades, and he is another one of those talking heads that's always on everything. And that's where I struggle with people like him and Stanton Friedman, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. RIP. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if I trust them as much, because they're always trying to make money off the back of it. They're always doing every interview, every TV show. But Nick Pope, I must admit, the last couple of interviews I've watched, he is pretty grounded. I mean, he doesn't. I even watched him recently. I can't think which channel it was on an interview. He was talking about being an atheist, and he was talking very rationally about what this actually could be that we're seeing, not just jumping to aliens. He said he hopes it's aliens, like we all do, but he was talking much more grounded about being military craft. And I really appreciated that, actually. I thought it was a really good interview. If you look it up, I think it was like last week or the week before, so it should come up. He's done a few interviews recently. Surprising how good some of those 360 games looked in your pickups the other day. I didn't think that gem would hold up well. Yeah, I think in that clip I used for Modern Warfare 3, I captured all them myself, by the way. It's me playing the games. That Modern Warfare clip, I know it's only like the CG bit before the level starts, but I thought that looks really, really good. And consider it's 2 generations away, it holds up exceptionally well. I haven't, mate. I don't even know what the hell is that. Oh, scam banking. Oh, right. Okay, I know what you mean now. Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never watched it though. Is that the Jeremy Corbell one, Jeff? Was it Area 51? Was it Bob Lazar, Area 51, and Flying Saucers or something? I rewatched it a couple of nights ago because I didn't think it was very good the first time I watched it. And the problem I had, if it's the documentary I'm talking about, the problem I had was that it felt to me the way it was put together was like you had to know who Bob Lazar was. It wasn't like anybody could just watch that documentary and learn about Bob Lazar's story. They touch on little bits of it, but it felt like it was just like if you're in the know already, you get more out of it when he talks about Element 115 and, you know, when he gets raided by the FBI and all that kind of thing. I feel like Jeremy Corbell just made it was too Hollywood in a way. He wasn't doing a proper documentary. He was trying to make it too fancy. I'm not exactly that keen on Jeremy Corbell anyway. I mean, he's probably a really nice guy. I just feel like he, again, is becoming a talking head, and he's just too enthusiastic, unfortunately, if he can be. What's your opinion on Star Wars Episodes 7, 8, and 9? Rian Johnson destroyed it, in my opinion. Well, as someone who didn't grow up with Star Wars, I only got into Star Wars a few years ago when The Force Awakens, so it was 2017. I went back and watched the originals, all 6 of them. I would say, why is that glitching? That's weird. That's probably the aliens in it that are interrupting my feed. Wouldn't that be weird if it actually happened now? That'd be creepy. 7, 8, and 9. So 7, I love Force Awakens a bit. 8 was horrendous. I hated that film. Weirdly, I liked it at the cinema, but then when I watched it on Blu-ray, it was so bad, and I haven't been able to get back to it. Number 9 was all right, but I felt like it was like 7 was brilliant, 8 was crap, number 9 somewhere in the middle. Not as good as 7, better than 8, barely. Okay, that's a little bit racist, but yeah, I don't use Dolmio, mate. Worst thing about Bob Lazar's is unwillingness to talk about it. I could listen to that guy forever. So do I. I find it really hard to disprove, because every time that someone comes up with something that says, "Oh, he lied about this," someone finds out that no, he didn't, and they find the truth about his background and everything. Element 115, everyone said Element 115 was bullshit. Turns out it's not. In 2004 or 2006, I can't remember. I think it was 2004. They found Element 115. Now, did they find it, or did the government allow the scientists to think they found it? Who actually knows about it? I don't know. And yeah, I believe him, but I think, annoying as it is that he doesn't want to talk about it, it also gives him a shitload of credibility, doesn't it? So it's a bit difficult in that respect. I mean, I thought the Joe Rogan, I know a lot of people give him crap about the Joe Rogan interview because of Jeremy Corbell taking over quite a bit. But I watched it again recently and went back and watched the whole thing. It isn't as bad as people say. And Jeremy Corbell, there's only a little bit where he starts to talk over Bob Lazar and take over. But yeah, I hope before Bob Lazar passes on, if he's got any information, or if he has got Element 115, whatever he can disclose, I hope he discloses whatever he has. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up in a minute, guys, because it's getting late and I need my sleep, but I also need a drink as well. Right, okay, so if you're in the podcast, try Conspiracy Unlimited. Okay, I've not seen that one, mate. I'll have a look at that after I finish this stream. Thank you for that. Yeah, I like to hear both sides, but I just feel like it's always like everything nowadays. It's like believers and skeptics, and no one's in the middle saying, well, Bob Lazar saw that UAP back in the 1980s. No one's talking about that. They're all saying, oh, yeah, it's real. The Navy have confirmed it, therefore those videos are real, which they are real, but it doesn't mean it's alien. It doesn't mean it's anything but American craft, because my big sticking point is still that bloody gimbal video. No one has told me anything different, but that gimbal video is exactly what Bob Lazar saw, what he claims to have seen a test flight at S4 back in the 80s. So if he saw that in the 80s, that craft that's in the Navy video is either the original alien craft that they've managed to get to fly, or it's a back engineered craft they've worked out. That's what Bob Lazar was doing, back engineering. So if they've worked it out, they're flying it. So it's just a Black Ops plane. It's not alien. It's not Chinese or Russian. It's just American. Well, that's the problem. As far as I understand, I'm not sure, Justin, but didn't J.J. Abrams, they wanted him for all 3 of them. And because that didn't happen, and Rian Johnson took over in the middle, I think that's where it all went tits up, isn't it? Mate, that is a great point. I cannot stand Stephen Greer. He seems to be in all the UFO docs. I rewatched, I can't think what the bloody documentary is called of his. I rewatched it on YouTube the other night, because the first time I watched it, I wasn't keen. And I feel like Stephen Greer, even though he's got good intentions, comes across like a cult leader to me. He doesn't come across like a genuine ufologist. But some of the stuff he says and the people he gets in his documentaries is actually interesting, especially a lot of the stuff where the government people have said, oh, that never happened, and then he's got the documentation to prove it did happen. That's fascinating. But I don't know enough about him. But you're right. This is the problem. A lot of them do this. Jamie Corbell's doing exactly the same thing. He's got a taste for it, and he's like, oh, this is my gravy train now. I'm going to be on all the TV shows and interviews. And I don't blame him. I understand why. I mean, it seems like he's fresh to it. So he's learning all this amazing information. And that's a great thing. But I just feel like, unfortunately, it's put him in a position now where there's a lot of people who don't like him. And as I say, I don't know. The bloke is probably a really nice guy. It's just, unfortunately, he doesn't come across so well. Yeah, it's a shame what they did with Star Wars. I mean, they could have done a really good thing. I thought Force Awakens was so good. I absolutely love that film. It's just a shame it all went tits, isn't it, really? Thank you, mate. So I am going to bring it to an end, guys, because we've been on for 2 hours now, and I really need some water. But I want to thank you all for coming in and dropping questions in the chat and participating. Really appreciate it. And, I might be back next week. So thank you, mate. Where's it gone? Boom. Yeah, hang on. Whoa, there we go. technology. Yeah, Unacknowledged. That's the one I watched the other night. It was an interesting documentary, but I'm not convinced by Stephen Greer at all. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, and I will probably see you next week. So thanks for watching, and good night.